Welcome back, everyone. This is Jandy, the Artsy-Rose, and we are about to continue off where we left off with our Happy Ever After Part 2 with Skeletiano, our Happy Ever After spinoff. I have a confession to make. I was trying to... At this point, I have uploaded the majority of the videos that I have recorded today, but I had an error problem with the last recording that I did, which just happened to have been the Ever After Part 2 with Skeletiano. So here I am making another recording so I can upload it on the internet. Well, I hope this doesn't have any screw-ups, so let's get these pages turning. Flipping. Because I'm weird like that. Happy Ever After Part 2 with Skeletiano. I found myself safely wrapped in Skeletiano's arms. There's no need to get so angry. It had been the king who had pulled me and Skeletiano apart. My apologies. For just a moment, I did not realize that the person in front of me was your majesty. You didn't recognize me? That's so mean, Bones. That's so mean, Bones. The king sat sulking in a corner of the balcony with his arms wrapped around his knees. This is kind of awkward. More importantly, your majesty, weren't you something about going to the moon? Yeah, but you two seem busy enough with each other, so forget it. Oh dear, he's really sulking. Jenny would be interested in going to the moon, too, wouldn't you? Jenny would be interested in going to the moon, too, wouldn't you? Skeletiano suddenly raised his voice, and I got the feeling he was hinting at something. Oh, yes. Yes! Skeletiano was actually just telling me the story about the rabbit and the moon. The story of the rabbit and the moon? What's that? Tell me, too! Of course, this is an old tale from the East. Skeletiano told the story he had just told me to the king. And that's the story. Hey, Bones, what's a god doing putting the poor rabbit in the moon all alone? The king seemed to be angry for the same reason as I was. Alright, I'm gonna bring that rabbit back here to Niflheim! Bones! Jenny, let's go! With that, the king dragged both of us off with him. Huh? He's brought us to the throne room. Something that looked like a type of vehicle stood in the middle of the throne. Your Majesty, where have you been? You disappeared somewhere without any explanation to JJ. Never mind that! I'm moving to rescue the rabbit! You're talking nonsense again. Bones, you don't need to keep him company. No, I want to be part of the rabbit rescue mission too. Then I'm going too. You guys! Sob. While Skeletiano heaved a long-suffering sigh, Skeletiano, the king, and I got into the vehicle. All right, let's off! The vehicle bleached out a cloud of white smoke without lifting even an inch off the ground. That happens when you try and drive something without asking JJ how to. Oh, man! After that, we returned to Skeletiano's room, which was still illuminated by the light of the moon. It's a shame we never got to go to the moon. It's a shame we could not go to the moon. We both gazed out the window. But I'm sure we'll make it there someday. Yeah, you're right. I've heard from our very own Mr. Philip that civilization in the land of the living is still advancing. And that progress is being made researching a means to travel to the moon, although we only have one researcher here. But if we are able to get there one day, it would be nice to have a trip around the moon. It would be nice to around the moon trip. Sorry. Skeletiano opened a tin of tea leaves and set about making tea. A trip touring around the moon. How romantic that sounds. He peeled the apple JJ had given him, mixed it in with the tea, then drank it. And he transformed from a skeleton into a human. Jandy, tonight there will be moon dust. There will be a moon dust shower. Let us sit between it. Let us sit beneath it and tell one another wonderful stories of romance. Skeletiano, I'd love to. Bathed in the light of the moon, we shared a kiss. We enjoyed a wonderful night of romance together. No matter how our love began or grew, for us, it was the best story of all. And here's to hoping that it actually works. I will see you in the next video. This is Jandy the Artsy-Rose, and I am out.